Hello and a warm welcome. You've joined us on Market Cafe right here on ET Now. I'm Ashesha Advaryu, and first up, let's take a look at how US markets ended on Friday. And US markets ended on a positive note. We had S&P 500 which rose. In fact, it closed at record highs on Friday. Apple shares rose on Friday, so that was also some positive news that we got from the American markets. Dow Jones rose nearly 2% in trade. We had S&P 500 soaring nearly 0.8%, and we had nasdaq. That one also ended nearly 1% higher in Friday's trade. Nasdaq, in fact, as I mentioned, hit an all-time high, and that was also another positive. But we had a whole host of stock-specific movers from US markets. Remember, as I mentioned, Apple was soaring in trade. Pinterest, that one reported very weak set of numbers, so that stock tumbled in trade on Friday. But we have the all-important inflation data that will be out this week from the United States, so all eyes will be on macro data from US. Apart from that, we also have some important commentary that came in from US President Donald Trump, where he warned US courts on Friday against striking down his tariff policy. So that was some important commentary that came in with respect to the tariff war that has been undergoing. And we also had Ethereum within the cryptocurrency market, which soared nearly 1% to a 7-month high. But let's also put the spotlight on the commodity market then, and crude oil prices have been declining for the last several trading sessions. We have Brent crude, which declined last week. It is sitting with a cut of nearly 1% today. It is trading near the $66 per ounce mark. In fact, it is below 66 at the moment, and it ended with a downtick of nearly 4.5% last week. Remember, there was this all-important meeting between global leaders on Friday, and a meeting between Trump and Putin is also expected to happen the coming Friday. So all eyes will be on that, and because of a possibility of a peace deal that could happen, we have seen that kind of fall in the oil market. Supply is likely to increase in the global market, and that will continue to weigh heavy, and that is precisely the reason Brent crude has started off with a cut of nearly 1% in today's trade as well, to fall below that $66 per barrel mark. As far as gold is concerned, that too has been declining. Remember, last week, of course, it ended with an uptick of nearly 1%, but today morning, spot gold is down 0.4% as we speak, to trade near that $3,380 per ounce mark. Traders, of course, await some kind of clarification on Trump tariffs on gold. Remember, last week there were some reports that suggested that Trump could also impose tariffs on gold imports, and because of which we saw a lot of volatility in the global gold market. Today, of course, it is subdued, sitting with a cut of nearly 0.4%, and we need some more clarity on how US could impose tariffs on gold as well. But back home, the mood was far gloomier. Sensex fell for the 6th straight week last week to slip below that 80,000 mark, while the Nifty 50 shed nearly 0.9%, and remember, this was the longest losing streak since April 2020, dragged down by Adani Enterprises and Apollo Hospitals. BSE listed companies, in fact, eroded market cap worth 4 lakh crore. Ankita Saxena, my colleague, is now joining us with the market wrap of last week. Ankita?
Well, yes, Nifty declined for the 6th consecutive week. In fact, this was the longest weekly loss on Nifty in the last 5 years since April 2020. In fact, we did not even manage to, touch those 24,400 levels at the close. We actually shut shop at 24,366 at the Nifty. So as far as Nifty Bank is also concerned, Nifty Bank closed around the 55,000 mark this week, declining for the 2nd consecutive week, mainly dragged by ICICI Bank and Kotak Bank. Sensex also declined for the 6th consecutive week, closing below the 80,000 mark. In fact, we saw a market cap erosion of 4 lakh crore rupees this week. Now, as far as the broader markets are concerned, the mid cap and the small cap, they also declined for the 3rd consecutive week. Mid cap shut shop 1.2% down for the week, and small caps 1.5% down for the week. Now, sectorally, the Nifty PSU banking was the top sectoral gainer this week that snapped its 2-week losing streak, mainly led by Indian Bank and Bank of Maharashtra. Nifty Auto also snapped its 2-week losing streak with Hero MotoCorp and TVS Motors that were leading the gains. Nifty Pharma was the top sectoral loser that declined for the 2nd consecutive week. Biocon and Divi's were leading the losses. FMCG was down 2% for the week, mainly dragged by Britannia Industries and Imami. Now, Nifty Realty also a big laggard decline for third consecutive week, mainly dragged by Sobha and DLF. Nifty Energy too declined for the three straight consecutive weeks. Now, as far as the top Nifty gainers are concerned for the week, Hero MotoCorp did very well. Titan on the back of strong set of results and good commentary coming in was also one of the top Nifty gainers. Tata Steel, Tech Mahindra, Trent and Eicher Motors in that pecking order were the top Nifty gainers. On the losing side, we had Adani Enterprises, Apollo Hospitals, Nestle, Infosys, Sun Pharma and Tata Motors that were the top laggards for the Nifty for the week.
All right, thanks Ankita for getting us that